I would like to call this meeting to order at 5:31, this fine April 26th. So I'm calling it to order, and now we're going to gavel back out to closed session. Is there any public comment on closed session? Nope. All right. Closed session. We are reconvening from closed session here at 6:04. I will start with the reading of, if I can find it, or I can't find it. Where is our, here, oh, our vision and mission statement. Sorry, not used to paper. All right, our vision statement, committed to serving every student every day. Our mission, the district in collaboration with educators, parents, and the community will prepare all students academically, socially, and emotionally for college, careers, global citizenship, leadership, and lifelong learning. The district will use its resources to provide all students with diverse, equitable, differentiated experiences and learning opportunities by a highly skilled educational team in a safe and supportive learning environment while remaining fiscally responsible. Roll call. Student Board Member Alejos.
Present.
Board Member Fritos. Present. Board Member Wilson. Board Member Arroyo.
Here.
Board Member Ornelas.
Here.
And Board Member Sandoval is here. Report from closed session. I have a number of items. During the closed session, the board unanimously approved the appointment of Dr. Andres Santamaria as the program administrator. This motion was made by Gabriela Ornelas with a second by Chris Wilson. Was that a clap?
I was trying to do the circle of life.
All right. Also in closed session, the Board of Trustees acted to accept the proposed settlement regarding retiree CID 1530867715 with a 5-0 vote. The settlement regarding retiree CID 1555830024 with a 5-0 vote. Accepted the proposed settlement regarding retiree CID 15611866566 with a 5-0 vote. Accepted the proposed settlement regarding retiree CID 1515269636 with a 5-0 vote. And accepted the proposed settlement regarding retiree CID 1530842116 with a 5-0 vote. All right, could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
All right, any discussion? We can do a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Staff reports. Student board member report. Trustee Alejos.
Today, 4th and 5th graders attended Grimm Fairy Tales at the Thousand Oaks Civic Art Plaza. On April 28th, 3rd through 5th graders, student finished and taking the LPAC. On May 2nd, 2nd graders will be participating in a walking field trip to the Ag Museum. On May 3rd, students will participate in a study trip to Underwood Family Farms. On Cinco de Mayo, Friends of McKevitt will be hosting a color run party from 1:45 to 2:30 p.m. On May 8th, 3rd through 5th graders will begin CASP testing. Report from Graceville. Graceville will be participating in the following activities. Art trek classes will be starting school-wide. There will be 5th grade study trip to Cal Lutheran University. There will be an ELAC meeting and technology training for parents. They will be hosting a site council meeting, core reading coaching, and kindergarten will be taking a study trip to the Discovery Cube. In April 28th, Graceville will be hosting their spring festival. Board members and staff members are welcome to attend. Report from Barbara Webster. Barbara Webster began its inter-school flag football league this week. A group of their 4th and 5th graders will be engaged in practice and competition each week. The practices will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:45 through 3:30 p.m. Barbara Webster hopes to have weekly games every Friday starting at 3:30. The season will run until June. They would like to give a big thanks to two of their teachers, Mr. Lackville and Mr. Acosta, for running the league and teaching students the value of competition and exercise. On May 19th, Webster is planning to have an art show and family dinner. Students will be displaying their art pieces to their families that evening. Barbara Webster would also like to send a shout out to all the hardworking administrative assistants and office managers for Administrative Assistant Day. You keep this whole show going. Renaissance High School's report. At Renaissance High, they are proud to share that their counselor, Mr. Juan Garcia, has been selected as the California Continuation Education Association plus Region 2 Counselor/Support Person of the Year. Garcia is currently facilitating a basketball tournament taking place this week. The winners of the tournament will win a lunch of their choice. Garcia goes above and beyond for all the students at Renaissance. Next week, students will participate in a Spirit Week leading up to Cinco de Mayo, where they will have a small fiesta and have a performance by Los Faicos de la Sierra. All students are working hard to finish the fourth quarter strong, and seniors will have the opportunity to attend Friday night and Saturday success classes during the month of May if they are in need of extra support. Report from Santa Paula High School. On May 19th, students will be hosting a Powder Puff event and will be participating in a Spirit Week and rally leading into it. ASB also participated in a giving back activity where students requested their friend's wish, and it was granted by ASB. Throughout this weekend, April 28th to May 1st, the SPHS Theater Club will be showcasing their musical On Your Feet. SPHS also hosted their annual UC Success Night on April 25th, where they celebrated their record-breaking percentage of students admitted to the UC system. Students were recognized with a certificate from Representative Julia Brownlee, Senator Monique Limon, and Assemblyman Steve Burnett. Last week, students went on a field trip to listen to a Holocaust survivor speak at the Ronald Reagan Museum as a part of their history class. I had the chance to go, and I would like to thank the city council members who volunteered in helping chaperone. Many students shared that it was a very touching and rare experience, and we thank the Ronald Reagan Foundation for giving us this rare opportunity. These were the received reports. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Superintendent's report, Mr. Weinstein.
You can go to the first slide. Thank you. So there's a few items on the superintendent's report tonight. So we currently have 2 TK classes and 2 kindergarten classes at Glen City. There are approximately 21 new students on a waiting list who have enrolled in our kindergarten but have not gone to our schools yet. In other words, so they haven't been in our preschool, they haven't been in our TK program, and they're starting school, their school career as kindergartners. So the issue becomes that the TK classes usually roll in, the DLI TK classes roll into the kindergarten, and the kindergarten rolls into first grade. But we have these extra students that want to be in the DLI program, but have to go on a waiting list. So as board regulation 6142.2, it says in the regulation if 20 or more students are the same grade level, request the establishment of such a program, the district shall determine whether it's possible to offer such a program in accordance with Ed Code, and we are going to do that. We're opened another class, and so we're getting confirmations from the parents of those 21 students who are on the waiting list. Next slide, please. So next year, and we're very proud to announce that in 23-24, we will have 2 DLI TK classes, 3 DLI kinder classes, and 2 DLI first grade classes. So the program is successful and it's continuing to expand. And as kind of word gets out about it, you know, anecdotal word from student to student or parent to parent, it's growing rather rapidly. Next slide, please. So a big concern that has been going around, not only our district, but all districts. In fact, the Ventura County Grand Jury also has hearings on this, is basically based on school safety. So I wanted to go over the social media threat that we became aware of. So among SPHS students, there was a rumor about a school shooting. It didn't specifically say Santa Paula High School, but our students were the ones talking about it. So we immediately, this is on Thursday night about 7 o'clock, we were in communication with the police department and investigated by detectives. So after the detectives spoke with all the students that were on the post, and they talked to the parents, and they went around, and nobody could substantiate where this posting came from. It was just being forwarded around the internet. So on Thursday evening, we wanted to make sure our parents were aware of the situation. We sent out a communication, and we continued it throughout the night to look into reports and making sure everything was good. We take all of these reports very seriously, and if you were around the campuses on Friday, you would have seen an increased police presence, as well as our security being there, and the same thing at Isbell, and there were patrol cars driving by most of all the elementary schools in the morning, as well as when they had release afterwards. So we're very thankful to the SPPD for listening to us and providing us the extra police resources that we needed. Next slide, please. So, So I wanted to go over our We Tip line. So to report a tip anonymously, you can use the We Tip link on our website, and there's a form that also can be found, or you can call, which is also placed on our website, the tip line of 844-805-2659. And we always say, if you see something, say something. A lot of students do, but there are a lot of students who feel that that's snitching or ratting somebody out. And so we provide this tip line where it is 100% anonymous, and anybody can call up with concerns of safety for students. Next slide, please. So, a lot of people want to know what we've been currently doing in the 22-23 school year, as well as what we're planning on doing. So our CBO has put aside about $300,000 per site for security improvements. And this is everything from physical improvements to security to new cameras, announcement systems, and anything that can be viewed as increasing our safety. This year, we increased our security at the high school to 9 security personnel, which is about 4 more than they had the previous year. We dedicated security staff at RHS as well, and we increased our security staff at Isbell to 7 security personnel. And before, they were not considered security, they were just considered campus supervisors, but they went through training. Those who wanted to be a security person, they went through training, and they were able to achieve that. We have a lead security officer for our secondary schools, and that officer, the security officer, is a former police officer. So he brings great resources of finding how we do things. We continue to contact school resource officers to be at our secondary schools. So we have contracts with the city for the police department to provide us a SRO at each one of our sites. Staff from each site have been attending a county school safety training throughout the year, and have been bringing back recommendations and protocols to us in order for us to have a more comprehensive safety plan. Another thing that's not on there that we did this year is we had full implementation of Raptor, which is an identification system at all of our school sites. Next slide, please. So what are we looking at for next year? What are we working on right now? Who are we talking to? We are talking to a few vendors who are consultants in school safety and security. We have a couple of local people I found out that actually do that as a consulting job. So that are former police officers or sheriffs, and that they are putting their knowledge and helping schools. So we're going to be working with one of those after we talk to all of them. We're looking at bringing metal detecting wands for random checks at our high schools and secondary schools. We're also looking at a vendor in Lancaster for gunpowder sniffing dogs to do random student checks. Both of these items, when I was a superintendent in Kern County, we implemented. And the idea is the metal detectors as well as the sniffing dogs come randomly at different times, different days, different, of the month as well as the week. And students never know when they're going to come to school and those checks will be done. So what it ends up happening is students become much more aware of the fact that they can get in real trouble and that we are actively looking for anybody who's breaking the rules. We're in the process of changing our locking devices to badge readers, and we're working on that, and we're in the process of adding cameras at all our sites. And I've taken a look at the quality of the cameras at the high school as well as RHS, and the quality of the system is awesome. It's just like, you can see everything, you can see details, you can see people. It works really, really well. And all of our principals and admin have access to it on their phones. So whether they're at school or at a meeting at the district office, they can immediately pull up their security camera system and take a look at it. So we're very happy about that. Next slide. Any questions on our safety efforts?
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein, for the presentation. I mean, I know we're in a troubled time. It's not just related to Santa Paula. It's definitely, I consider it an epidemic throughout the United States. I'm fearful that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when our school is going to deal with this. And I want to make sure that we're prepared for this. So a couple questions I have, and definitely I can make this future agenda items as well. You mentioned that there were some trainings that were in place, and my question is and are our staff ready to tackle a situation like an active school shooter? And I say that because I know that's been the buzzword when it comes to school safety and whatnot. So the first question is our staff, from classified teachers to administrators, are we prepared to deal with an active shooter situation? And if not, what are the steps to remedy that? What are the steps to get ourselves in that progressive and prevention steps? Two, I know that as school employees and teachers, classified parents and students, they complete what's called a healthy survey. And often in that healthy survey, a lot of information, a lot of data can come out regarding the sentiment of what our community is feeling. I'd like to know what those findings are. Where are the hot topics that our community is feeling when it comes to the healthy survey? And then for those that are watching and also those in the community and the audience, we do have a 2x2 meeting with the city council members on, I believe it's Tuesday, next Tuesday?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think I'd also like to know what are the protocols, or what's the communication level with the city when it comes to our SROs and how we want to manage the situation at what we feel is best need for supporting our students. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have it all written down.
Thank you, sir.
Present that either on the 10th or the 24th.
Thank you.
We'll gather all that information.
Thank you. And I'll make sure I will sum it up definitely less than in our future and board comments at the end.
Yeah, I guess on her 101s, I did mention safety previously from the first incident, and now there's just people making, threats on how to deal with it. So it's the same sentiments. How are we working with our local police and staff and to be trained and to feel safe or comfortable that there is a plan in place?
I don't want to say the same things, but student safety is very important, I think, to us as a board, to everyone that's here. Not just student safety, but our staff, from our security guards that are outside to custodians, everyone that's on campus is important. So making sure that everyone has the tools or learns whatever protocol is in place or will be put in place to make sure that everyone's able to respond quickly to keep everyone safe. Like Mr. Frutos said, or Trustee Frutos said, it's not if, but when. So as a district, be as proactive as possible to keep our kids safe, or everyone safe.
And so my 2 cents, right? I mean, I think the first thing, you know, that after kind of assessing the 2 situations, is that our crisis communication has to be improved. I think one of the things that was most distressing, right, is that, you know, Thursday, I mean, this town, right, nothing is hidden. And so when the word gets out, it's going to go to everybody, right? So, you know, I would have liked to have seen a district-wide email. I don't know if that's most appropriate or not, because there was a lot of people left wondering, right? Even if they don't have a kid that goes to the high school, like what's going on, right? Is this going to affect our school? And so, you know, I think, right, that being as, you know, transparent and as quick as possible is huge. I remember a year and a half ago at one of our CSBA conferences, I went into a session on crisis communication, and they're like, you got to get out there, because if you don't, right, which is what happened this weekend, the social media is going to take over, right? I mean, I saw a post on growing up in Santa Paula of, you know, hundreds of people chiming in, right? And so that vacuum is going to be, you know, taken up by someone else's narrative. So we need to just put out the facts as we know them, right, as much as we can. And I know that some of that is confidential and what have you, but so that's one thing. You know, certainly the coordination, right, Trustee Frutos, between the city and the school needs to be improved. I mean, it absolutely needs to be improved. So we need to start having some, you know, conversations about, you know, not just are we ready, right, but are they ready on the other side? Because if an active shooter event does happen, you know, we're not going to be the ones stopping it, right? And so how does that communication get set up from the get-go? How do we, you know, transmit the information, you know, to the staff, right, during an event? You know, there's a lot that goes to it, right? And more I'm looking forward to, because I know a lot of our staff, right, Mr. Olson included, went to trainings that VCOE had, right? And school security is more than just the hardening, right? You know, we can do as many metal detectors or metal wands or gun sniffing dogs, right? It's just, there's other things that we need to do as well, right? It's not just about, you know, creating a prison situation here. And that's not the most effective anyways, right? So another presentation that we had all went to in January at the VCOE, the VCSBA meeting, was on school security, and Conejo Valley had an interesting philosophy on how they tackled this, right? Which, you know, the real first, you know, and most important thing is prevention, you know. So how are our teachers and staff trained, right? Because they're the front line, you know, they're the ones who are going to see it first, right? So, which involves mental health, right? In our multi-tiered systems of support, right? We have to make sure that those protocols are being followed, that we're not, you know, losing kids in the gap. I mean, the nice thing about doing all that, right, is that we need to do that for all those kids anyways, because of their mental health, right? Most of them, if not all of them, are going to be just fine and not act out in this way, but it only takes one, and then that's it, right? So are they trained in identifying those signs and helping, you know, make sure that we have a pulse on the student body. That's, I think equally as important. So, there's much more we could talk about, right, with safety. I'll kind of leave it there and look forward to a bigger presentation on this, because it is huge, right? And every time this happens, we get panicky about it, and we should be more involved. And Trustee Orlenos, do you have any insight from a student perspective that you might want to share? You don't have to, but I want to make sure you have the opportunity.
As a student perspective, going to school on Friday was very scary. The reason a lot of students did not go, in my opinion, well, not in my opinion, but from what I've heard from other students, has been like how I heard Frutos explain how is administration at schools and staff ready, and for students, I don't think they feel that. I feel that they don't feel safe yet because they feel that administration and staff is not ready for that kind of thing to happen. So I feel like we should also focus on that kind of training for the anxiety of the students in terms of that.
All right. Do you have any? Go ahead, please.
Just how quickly can staff be trained, or is that something that has to be negotiated through their contracts? Or they have to
We have professional development dates that are already
So it
in the
could be-
contract, and we would just have to substitute out what we have planned to do the active shooting, and then type training or crisis management training or whatever the title of it is.
Yeah, I mean, I know in my early days of my career, we used to do training with the sheriff's department. I'm talking maybe 15 years ago. And it boosted your confidence that you were ready for an emergency or disaster. And unfortunately, I mean, that type of training stopped for my employment, but it was very beneficial, just, having to run through processing the emergency response, your connection with the sheriffs, with different fire agencies, and knowing what your role was as your administrative staff and what your role was as other employees, other duties. So everybody had a role, and I don't know if the sheriff's division offers that type of training or the BCOE. Because I know the presentation that Dr. Sandoval mentioned, I believe the key speaker was the police officer from Oxnard. I had already forgotten about that presentation, and there was a lot of key things, and I remember the wellness part of it. I mean, we all looked at each other and said, we were doing that. We worked on that, but the other components I think are important. So just good for that.
I'm not sure if I missed it in your superintendent's report about the locks on the doors. Is that something that we're looking into?
We're looking right now into badge access rather than
Okay.
regular locks, which is, that way only authorized people can go in, and even students' badge will work on their classrooms. So it's not designed to, so that if a teacher the best thing a teacher can do is keep their door closed and locked during their classroom. And that when a student leaves, the door closes, locks, and then they come back and they can either use their badge or they knock and they're let in. But the idea really is that, we need to be more cognizant of this potential threat on a daily basis. There's things where we have installed window shades where light comes in, but people can't see in the classroom. And all those type of things go into, and Mr. Olson is working diligently on that. But I will have to say, after the last two incidences, I have asked Mr. Olson to reach out to the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, and because I was extremely disappointed in not only the coordination of both incidences with the police department, and maybe it's because we have an interim chief or whatever, but one of the most important things, as Dr. Sandoval told us, is transparent communication. And there were things we wanted to put out during the previous crisis that, we're all trained as administrators and everything that when the police come on campus, they're in charge. And so you don't want to do anything to hinder whatever they're going to do. But the awareness of how they were going to handle it, as well as seems to be the lack of awareness of social media, and that, you know that by 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning after that incident happened, that everybody knows about it. And yet the police delayed us, would not approve us to send out a communication to the public. And it just kind of went on, and there were promises that the communication would go out later on Friday. Never happened until after our very, very diligent staff went to a debriefing on that Monday, and I was there, and about 4 hours after that, around 1 o'clock on Monday, all of the, I think most of the classified were very we didn't know what was going on, and there was a lot of things that they felt were wrong. But one of the main things that was pointed out was, you didn't communicate to staff, students, or the community in a very efficient manner and a proactive manner. And there were reasons that the police had, but at the same time that they were giving the reasons, they also admitted that they knew that social media knew everything already. So it's we were just having a disconnect there.
The day that we had the first threat, well, actually, the student on campus with the gun, I went on campus for lighting that was being installed in the auditorium. And it did take someone to come and unlock the gate. But what I did notice when I was on campus was that staff didn't know what was happening. And I don't know necessarily, I don't have an answer on, staff would be able to tell us more what they would like to see. But definitely, at the youth center, we say pineapple if there's a problem. Right, me and the other staff. If I say pineapple, they know to take the kids away from where I am. Well, whatever. Pineapple is pineapple for us. But, it's not, the high school is a way bigger scale. I'm talking maybe 30 kids at the youth center, but staff should be aware of what is happening. Or there should be, I don't know, I've had conversations with Dr. Sandoval about what if there's different colored lights that are over the door in the classroom, and a light turns on and it's very subtle, but the teacher knows, what that could mean, so that then they know how to react and how to keep their classroom safe. I don't know, there's so many different options, but just something that would be quick and efficient for everyone to be locked down, but not just be told, just close your door. I don't think that that's the fairest thing to say to staff counseling staff or any staff, when they have students with them and they're just told, just close your door. I don't know how I would feel if I had kids with me and that's all I was told. I wouldn't really know how to react. So I would like to see that change. And I know that Dr. Garcia was not there that day. But we can't choose the day that these things happen, So then there has to be a second in position to take on whatever crisis or emergency could happen, and they should be just as prepared as our principal at any of our sites. Anyways, I know that this is the beginning of the conversation and there's a lot of work to do, but I'm glad we're having it.
All right, any final thoughts? All right, we will move on to the next item, committee updates. Trustee Frutos?
I have nothing to report.
Trustee Wilson?
Nothing to report at this point.
Trustee Arroyo?
Nothing to report.
Anyone else?
Nothing to report, but I'm going to go back on the topic we were just talking about. Mr. Weinstein, you brought up communication with the police department. When I did have a city computer over at the storefront, there's this little tiny green button that's on your screen, and if you click it, it will alert police that there's an issue. I don't know if something like that could be developed or if that same thing could be put on our school computers, but I don't know exactly what the green button does. I was just told that if there was an emergency to press the green button or click the green button, then they would be alerted. So maybe that's one way that we could,
Like a reverse.
something, something that could be on our teachers' devices that they could quickly click on, almost like Trustee Arroyo said, a panic button, but that would go straight to PD while they could communicate it to staff on site.
All right, I'm gonna mention, well, 'cause it's been a month since we've last met. All right, so, in between, there was a Bride and Gem meeting. I don't know if any of you remember. Now, I don't want to report on that because I was only there for 15 minutes. So if any one of you would like to take that item, please, by all means, or go for it all the way down.
So we were all there. It was a first meeting. Or second, was it?
First community meeting, the second meeting that we had. First meeting was strictly
Staff, okay. This was the first time that community members were invited, right? So I walked in a little bit late. There was a little bit of a rocky start, but I think that it ended well. I was able to walk around to different tables. There was big drawings, or what are they called? I don't know, renderings, sorry, of like the actual, where the gym was and where we have the auditorium and where everything sits and the house is on Palm, and that was a good visual. Also different images of what we could potentially have in there and what it could be for our students. There was great ideas that were brought up. There was a lot of concern, of course, from students and parents that have interest in a specific sport like wrestling or just, bringing the space back for our students. I am looking forward to the next one. I was also at cruise night, went up to the table that was there with our district staff, and I called students and they came down and they handed out flyers with a QR code for people to take the survey. I handed out flyers myself. Really trying to encourage people that I saw with kids, like, hey, do this when your student gets up there, they'll be able to enjoy it. So I look forward to more of them. I encourage more of staff, community members watching, everyone, whether you have students that are in kindergarten, first grade, or babies now. I mean, they're gonna come through the high school at some point, and so all input is welcome, so that we could do the best we can with the opportunity we have.
It was a great meeting. It did get off to a little bit of a rocky start, but then everybody was able to speak their mind and it came back on course. And the architects, I think, did a good job in the district too of publicizing it. There were pretty good turnout. I mean, there's always opportunity for more people, and there's a lot of opportunities there between the band and sports, obviously, and the pool, and lots to plan for. I think we hired the proper architectural firm. They seem to be doing a nice job of, just being totally open at this point. Nothing coming out design-wise, that it's just, at this point, listening and gathering input to what we need and what we want, and we'll figure out the budget part of it as we can. But, let's start by hearing what we really dream about, and hopefully we can get close to what our dreams are.
Yeah, it was nice once people understood that it was a hands-on, type of a workshop where they can actually write down their ideas and make notes, and that the architecture team was going to take all of the markups and make a master list of all the wishes and wants and figure out something that maybe create a multi-use space where we can get as much as we can. So it was nice to see people brainstorming ideas and putting it together on paper.
All right, and then, so for my committee update, I don't have to talk about that. I did make 2 trips to Sacramento as part of the CSBA Legislative Committee. It's a place where a number of board members from across the state come together, and we help develop what the CSBA, the California School Board Association, what positions we're going to take on different legislation, and what we're going to advocate for. And, at first you go up and you go, what difference are we making? And then you get a nice little email from CSBA today that says the state Senate, members of who we met with, is staking a claim for education, which is really nice. They're rejecting the governor's proposed $1.2 billion Prop 98 reduction to the arts and music and instructional material grant, which we advocated for. It's rejecting funds cuts to the school facility program, preschool, transitional kindergarten, and full day kindergarten facility grant program, which we advocated for. Funding the universal school meals, completely, and most importantly, keeping the COLA of the 8.13. So those are all things that the School Board Association had advocated for, and at least the Senate at this point is supporting, right, with a proposal. So I'm glad I'm making that trip, right? So all right. So do we have some public comments? I think we do. Thank you. All right. Is this true? We only have one public comment at this point then? Okay. Chris Inez, can you come on up?
Stay. Greetings, board members, superintendent, and members of the community. My name is Chris Inez, and I'm the current president for CSEA Chapter 891, which represents our classified staff at Santa Paula Unified. I stand before you with my 4 friends, Justice, Alani, and Lieutenant, which are certified therapy dogs. I am proud that these 3 dogs visit our students within Santa Paula Unified to bring comfort and encouragement to our students. On March 24th, Santa Paula High was in a crisis. Staff and students were placed in a dangerous situation. A student was apprehended with a handgun with 2 clips of ammunition. We are thankful that Santa Paula Police Department alerted school administrators regarding the situation because of community safety. However, staff and students were placed in a situation unacceptable. Santa Paula High is experiencing problems with homelessness, people on our school grounds before students arrive, like our other schools in the district are. They are found at different locations around our school campus. On 2 occasions, they were found in our cafeteria. Thankful, a student was one who alerted the cafeteria staff. Last Thursday at 10 p.m., I was alerted that our school was threatened again. Where is our safety? What are our safety protocols? Do we have a crisis team for our staff and students when they experience this type of trauma? We need more concise safety protocols for these situations, especially with police activity on our campus. The classroom I am assigned in as an instructional aide faces 6th Street near the main gate. The teacher and I put in place lockdown protocols when we saw police activity to ensure our students were safe in our classroom until police presence left. At this time, still not knowing what was going on, all staff have accounts to Raptor account. A communication in place to utilize in emergencies for these types of situations, which are not used. During lunch, Justice Alani and I visited the Center courts for regular visits. That day was an all-time high of students needing comfort. We have one high school which serves our community. We talk about education, pathway programs, athletics to ensure future for our students. Parents hope our students have a safe learning environment. Educators see students who arrive angry and broken. We need proper measures to ensure our schools are safe and what staff will do when in jeopardy. 2 years ago, my husband, a Ventura County probation officer, was seriously hurt at the juvenile justice complex, trying to break up a fight. It was one officer, him, against 7 juvenile inmates. I received a call. He was headed to VCMC. As I arrived, my first comment to his direct supervisor was, does an officer have to die before you realize safety needs to be a priority? My question to you is, does a student or employee of Santa Paula Unified have to die before you realize our schools are in a crisis and security needs to be a priority and education? I leave this topic in your hands to find a solution to what us educators face. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. All right, presentations, the spring enrichment program.
Gonzalez.
Okay. Ms. Gonzalez.
Good evening, Board President Dr. Sandoval, Board of Trustees, Superintendent, Cabinet members, and the audience. Tonight, Dr. Ramirez was not able to make it back on time from the Community Engagement Initiative meeting in San Diego, and Mrs. Magana, District Lead, is also unavailable. Tonight, I will provide you a brief summary of our first ever spring camp. Star Nova is the agency we contracted with to provide enrichment activities during the summer. The students enjoyed every single offering. They did not want to go home. One of the students said, "Can you come back and get me? I have to finish the activity." Staff stated that it was great to see their smiling faces. We plan to support 350 students. Oh, I'm sorry. Next slide. The objective was to provide spring camp at every site but McKevitt. McKevitt needed some electrical work that prevented us from being able to offer the camp at that location. We first sent out the invite to all of the Aspire students. Later, we offered it to everyone. Here are the number of students we actually served. As you can see, the most was 219, and the least was on Monday after Easter with 158 students. This information will help us to plan for the next spring session. Here are some pictures of the cooking class. You can see that they made some delicious treats. And here are some students being models, wearing the clothes they chose and they rearranged. All students love to play soccer. Outside sports was one of their favorite activities. And here we have robotics. It was great to see the students trying to make their cars move within a circle. They also enjoyed programming the robots. They were using a lot of academic language without realizing it. You can see what great vases they made with paint and tissue. The students also loved to do all the different activities during art time. Art time consisted of different modalities. What we learned is that next year we'll hold camp at 2 sites. We chose Blanchard and Barbara Webster because preschool is occurring at that time. We will continue to partner with Star Nova. They are responsive and they made every effort to train the staff and provide a safe and fun learning environment. Thank you for your support. And if you have any questions, I can take them back to Dr. Ramirez and the team.
We have any questions or comments?
Looks like fun. Wish I was a kid.
I just appreciate that there was something that students who, would have been maybe just stuck at home watching TV actually got to go and enrich their minds and their body. So thank you.
It would be good to know how much the program costs, right? Total, cost of personnel in the Star Nova.
Okay.
Just to see how cost effective it is. And I'm glad that we're going down to 2 sites, right? Because it does look like there's some consolidation that needs to be done. Holding 5 sites open is quite a bit. So that's my comment.
Thank you for the presentation. I did hear from some students this week that they attended, and they said they had fun. So that's exciting. Thank you for sharing. Are we going to do it again? Is that something that will be ongoing?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Item B, the merit system. Ms. Carrillo.
Okay, I know you can't wait to hear about the merit system. So good evening, President Sandoval, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Weinstein, fellow cabinet members, SPUSD staff, and community members. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cynthia Carrillo. I am the Executive Director, Human Resources for Classified. And we're going to go through an overview of the merit system, which is part of the Education Code sections 45240 through 45320. Okay, oh, and I have a clicker here, huh? Thank you. Okay, so we have 7 topics on our agenda tonight. My goal is to ensure that this presentation is informative, educational, and provides you with a deeper understanding of the merit system as it relates to our classified employees. So I'm not going to be reading slides, but I am going to give you some more insight as to what these slides are about, and I can take any questions afterwards. So we talk about working together. It's imperative that our Personnel Commission and our Board of Trustees work together. That means working collaboratively, trusting each other, building trust, maintaining open communication, and ensuring transparency in all personnel matters. So it is the goal of the Personnel Commission to always work collaboratively with our Board of Trustees. And as I mentioned, it does require trust, communication, and transparency. I'm really excited that I am part of this team because I have felt all of these, and I do believe that we have a good working team and a good working relationship. One of the greatest benefits of the merit system comes from building relationships and working together with all of our stakeholders. When we work together, we can achieve so much more. This is bugging me. Okay, there. So, I'm sorry, I'm not used to doing slides. The history of the merit system. I want to give you a little bit of background. Why do we have a merit system? What happened? So, in the late 1800s, the spoils system dominated politics in the United States, long time ago. But this spoils system was a known patronage system where jobs were given to campaign workers and voters as a reward for working towards a political victory. It served as an incentive to keep people working for a political party's agenda. So, in 1883, the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act established federal employment protections against patronage. Its purpose was the best qualified should be selected for employment. Public servants were protected from decisions based on political agendas. So, in the late 1800s, at the federal level, we saw what became the civil service system. Now, in 1913, you don't see it on my slide, but the state of California adopted the California Civil Service Act, which was modeled after the Pendleton Civil Reform Act. So, must have been working because in 1935, Assembly Bill 999 was an amendment to the California Education Code to adopt the merit system, or as they say in other areas of government, civil service. The catalyst was due to the scandal of a school board election in 1933. So picture this, you've got 4 board members running for office, and they're saying, hey, vote for me, and I've got a job for you. I'll hook you up. I'll take care of you. So these 4 candidates promised all sorts of people jobs if they voted for them, and in exchange for their political support. So after the elections, these 4 individuals won, and they're also known as the 4 horsemen. The very next day at LA Unified, over 700 classified employees were dismissed so that those folks could come in based on the patronage system. So that's how the changes occurred and how the merit system developed. For us, in 1968, the Santa Paula Elementary School District adopted the merit system. I keep losing my little, sorry. Okay, so history of the merit system at Santa Paula Unified. So you know in 1968, so we've been around about 55 years, the district as a merit system. When we unified Santa Paula Elementary School District and Santa Paula Union High School District, on July 1st, 2013, there was a vote, and it was again voted that we would maintain our merit system status. So as a unified school district, it's been almost 10 years that we have been a merit district. A little more history on merit. There are over 90 school districts in California, and we're at a point in society where we're starting to see a slight uptick of districts interested in merit. Keep in mind, it's not just school districts, it's public education systems. So you will see county offices of ed who run merit districts, and you will also see community colleges that are parts of merit districts. So these 90 school districts, or 90 plus districts, represent approximately 60% of all classified school employees within the state of California. So a small number in comparison to the 240, 250 number of school districts we have, but a large number, the majority, working in merit systems. Locally, we have approximately 8 districts that are merit districts in addition to our district. So let's see, what else do I have? So the merit system. Again, a method of personnel management, which is designated to promote the efficiency and economy of the workforce. So simply put, the merit system provides, the merit system principles serve as best practices in the field of HR. They provide an extra layer of accountability and compliance, and this ensures legal defensibility for the district. Our role is to ensure fairness and equity, essentially leveling the playing field for all applicants. And I do want to share with you a very brief story. At our new employee orientations for classified employees, we give them a little bit of background of how they got hired, the merit system process. The last one that we had was in March, and after the new employee orientation, which I had about 15 people there, one of our new employees came up and said, I want to thank you. I said, oh, for what? She goes, I want to thank you for being a merit district. I said, oh, really? I said, tell me what you mean. I kind of got excited.
And she says, well, I've applied at other school districts and I didn't know anybody. And I didn't get an interview. I didn't get a call or anything. But because you have a process where I don't need to know anybody, I need to demonstrate through merit and fitness that I'm qualified, I got an interview and I got a job. So I believe that I got this job because of the merit system. Well, she gave me goosebumps because that's what we look for. That's what we're excited. That's when we know we've done our job right. So I just wanted to share that with you. So advantages of the merit system. Yes, folks, there are advantages to having a merit system. Some of those advantages include building trust through transparency, ensuring selection of qualified candidates, and again, as I spoke to earlier, removing appointments and promotions from the political and personal arenas. The benefits are noteworthy and significant and are even more impactful for stakeholders due to the collaboration between the commission and the board. When we're working together, our processes are well defined and we've done a good job and our employees can feel it. So when there's dissension, and I've worked in districts where there is a merit district, it is very difficult and our employees do feel it. So again, I feel so privileged to be working in this district with the team that we have. The Personnel Commission. They're composed of 3 people appointed for 3-year staggered terms. Our members include the CSEA appointee, Tommy Sanchez Reyes, who is our chair, the district appointee, Jeff Steiger, who is our vice chair. Now, these 2 chairs, the district appointee and the CSEA appointee, work together and select a joint appointee. They both have to agree on the joint appointee, and that is Karen Harrison, who is the member of the commission, the 3rd member. The responsibilities for commissioners include being a resident within the boundaries of the Santa Paula Unified School District, to be an adherent of the principles of the merit system. Excuse me. So there definitely are responsibilities as well. As you can read on this portion of the slide, they oversee a personnel management program. They develop and administer policies governing employment matters to ensure the fair and equitable treatment of employees within the classified service, and they're also responsible for conducting appeal hearings on matters involving employee discipline. They have the responsibility to oversee the personnel management system, and these are all as it relates and pertains to education code. Their jurisdiction does not go beyond what education code has dictated. When you look at the functions, I've identified the six areas of Personnel Commission functions listed on this slide. We're going to take a look at a couple of these functions. We're going to go a little bit deeper to give you a little bit better understanding of a couple merit system processes. Before we do that, let's go to the role of the director. So again, we would go to Education Code 45266 to define what the director of education, what the director of the Personnel Commission is responsible for. In addition to that, there are so many other roles and functions that the director is responsible for: the onboarding, contract, grievance procedures, leaves of absence, professional development, employment complaints, workers' comp, discipline, annual evaluations. The list goes on. But it is important to note that in our district, the director position reports directly to the Personnel Commission and is 100% funded by the Personnel Commission budget. I'm not going to get into the Personnel Commission budget and how it's established, but I certainly can give you more information should you request that. So let's take a look at those 2 classified processes that I mentioned. We're going to talk about classified recruitment and then the establishment of a new position. So when you look at the classified recruitment process, you're going to see, again, areas that are required dictated by the education code. The position review, that's where we would collaborate, determine the appropriate job description, look at the jobs, look at the knowledge, skills, and abilities, the job competencies to ensure that we are, in fact, recruiting for and testing for the appropriate position. Exam development. This doesn't come easy. We use an outside source to ensure that we are developing appropriate and legally defensible exams. The exam administration, proctoring exams, the eligibility list. We rank them based on an aggregate score of weighted scores on all exam parts, and they receive a unique score that occupies a rank. And then the vacancy certification. That's when a hiring authority would have 3 ranks, the highest qualified ranks, that are ready and willing to accept a position. Yes, it's a long process, but I can assure you that this process is legally defensible. Establishing a new position. This is a different look than what I gave you previously. What I wanted to share is that this is a shared responsibility between the Personnel Commission and the Board of Education. The Board of Education determines whether or not we need a new position, not the Personnel Commission. The board would establish the need for a new position, determine the types of services needed, and authorize the positions. The role of the commission would be to establish that job classification, to adopt the specifications, and appropriately classify that position. So you can go back and forth on those few areas and see that it is a combined effort for us to create and establish a new position. The merit system, there are definitely more checks and balances, but as someone who has worked in both merit and non-merit districts, this is a great opportunity for collaboration and to ensure the best possible position classification can be developed. This process involves all stakeholders and can have very positive outcomes. The relationships, roles, and functions. Again, I wanted to show that we work together. So the personnel function classifies and reclassifies duties or job descriptions. You'll see the ed codes sections there for the Personnel Commission. But the Board of Education sets those duties. That's not a role and responsibility of the Personnel Commission. So there are so many areas where you can see working together the board functions versus what the Personnel Commission has to do. And each of these functions are outlined in the Education Code. And my last slide, I want to read a quick quote. There is immense power when a group of people with similar interests gets together to work toward the same goals. And I just want to share that as an employee, I feel really good about the work that I do because of the collaboration, transparency, and trust that have been developed between the commission and the district. Thank you. And any questions?
Any questions, Emma?
I've answered them all.
All right, then. I guess, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to the next presentation, CTE Special Populations Data. Ms. Gonzalez, once again.
Hello again. Tonight I'll be providing an overview of the 21-22 and 22-23 CTE enrollment. And I want to take a moment to thank Cheryl Pazin. She's our database analyst for working diligently to collect this data for us tonight. So here we have a global view of both the 21-22 and the 22-23 school year. We offered 11 pathways in 21-22, and we currently offer 6. This was a result of our evaluation and restructuring process that we went through the last school year. We offered 25 CTE courses, and we currently offer 23. We are not offering ROP Introduction to Law Enforcement and the Advanced Law Enforcement. And our total student enrollment increased by 42 students. Sorry. We have provided the CTE program enrollment by student groups here, providing you both years. the first section on the left identifies total student numbers and percentages at Santa Paula High School by each student group for the year 21-22. The next section is the CTE program enrollment broken down by student group, by total enrollment number, and the percentages for 21-22. And then the last two sections repeat for the 22-23 school year. The goal of our CTE enrollment is to reflect our total enrollment at Santa Paula High School by student group. And then here we have the 21-22 program enrollment organized. We organized the data based on the current 6 academies offered: human services, engineering, cybersecurity, the arts, patient care, and agri-science. You will see we kept the courses consistent. Human service numbers did not include law enforcement, so that we're comparing the same number of courses from 21 to 22. And the same goes for agri-science. And then here we have the same student groups identified for the 22-23 school year, organized in the same manner. And I also wanted to mention that this, the 21-22 data reflects an April 17th, 22 enrollment date, and the 22-23 reflects an April 18th, 23. Just that, those are the dates we captured the data. And that is the overview of our enrollment. Questions?
Looks like you're doing pretty well. The numbers seem to match the overall population quite closely. Say you're doing well.
Okay. It's just pointing out a couple numbers, right? It looks like overall our free and reduced lunch went down 79% to 69% of the total. Do you have any indication why that might? I mean, is that big of a decrease?
This current year, we had difficulty getting the free and reduced financial forms from the high school.
Yeah. Oh gosh, sorry, I didn't. Yes, I see that now. Never mind. So I retract my question. But I would like to note the increase that we did have with emergent bilinguals and the special needs. That's nice to see that those numbers went up significant. I would say significantly. Still a little bit more progress to be made, but we're pretty close. So that's great. Drilling in a little bit, it's interesting to see a few trends, right? So in the enrollment by academy, it'd be great if we can make an effort, right, to encourage more women or girls to get into engineering, technology, and cybersecurity. There's a huge gap there. And I've heard some just great stories about how well our girls do, right, in those programs when they do get there.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you identifying the increase, because that is a purposeful effort of the entire CT team, the counselors, the teachers. So just to speak to the example that you stated in engineering, Maida Davidson, one of our engineering teachers, holds a female club. I'm sorry, I should know the name of the club right now, but the whole intention is to engage with females. What is it called?
Women's Society of Engineers.
Yes, thank you. To engage the students so that they are encouraged to enter into our Engineering Technology Academy.
Mm-hmm. Some other nice highlights is how cybersecurity, the arts, and patient care have pretty high percentages of emergent bilinguals. That's great. And even the engineering technology too. And then for special needs, cybersecurity and the arts are really, 1 out of 5 kids, in the program are special needs. That's fantastic.
Yes, and just to speak to that, our cybersecurity teacher, he's very mindful of that. So he does reach out and ask for resources. Last year he did have a specific student who he requested a tutor for and working with the case manager. So, kudos to James Haas and the work that he's doing to encourage our students and our special needs students.
That's great. Hopefully we can see that across the board.
Yes.
Yeah, first, I just want to kudos for the great work of everyone, the presentation, the data, the teachers. I'm glad you brought up Mr. Haas. I mean, I think all of the CTE teachers do their best, go above and beyond. Mr. Haas, I think he shares so much. Just was it freshmen, 8th graders when they come visit? I mean, he was there talking to so many students. So were the other academies.
Yes.
And I think that goes a long way. And as you were presenting, I was thinking, looking at the numbers, and I remember you guys did a presentation, showed videos to the students of kind of what the different academies were, but what if we took it a step further and did videos with photos and short little clips of what the students have been doing? I'm sure there's a lot of photos and maybe not the video clippage of what each CTE program is, and then interview some of the students, whether it's just a 5-minute clip for each program, so that you can recruit more 8th graders. I know, like, my daughter, she was an 8th grader, but she knew what the Ag Academy was, so she was doing the presentations for them, because I guess that time they couldn't get students or it just didn't work out. But if you have a video and something more current, like this year or next year, I think it would be more beneficial, because they can watch it, and teachers can, 8th grade teachers can put it at, when possible, or a big assembly. Even getting alumni, students who've graduated from HSA, the Ag Academy, I'm not sure if any of the other CTE programs, just see how beneficial it was for them.
I feel like you've been speaking to Lisa Vasquez, because
Nobody.
you are right in line with the work, our social media specialist, and she is really doing a excellent job at reaching out to the CTE Academy. She's very interested, and she was just speaking to me today about capturing experience at the farm, so that we can market the agri-science experiences and what they're doing there. And so she mentioned she wanted the student voice in video clips. So I like that you mentioned that, because we've had brainstorming sessions, and then also down the line in the agenda items, we are identifying a marketing company that we will be partnering with to be able to help us build this marketing plan and capturing the students in voice and doing a better job at our recruitment.
I just feel like our students can almost do this video. I'm just thinking of
the
courses.
The arts.
Yes, it's the editing. I mean, I know a few local people that can even volunteer their time to teach them how to edit and add the music behind it. I mean, kids do it all the time on their phones. And they do wonderful.
PBL.
They do wonderful things. I'm like, oh, this is nice. But just getting, even from teachers of their alumni students, that I'm sure they still probably talk to a few of their students who are now in different careers that are using what they learned in the Human Services Academy or the Ag. Those are just ideas.
Yes, thank you.
Well, and I think to emphasize that learning at Isbell, right? Of the different academies too. I mean, isn't that? I mean, don't they have I don't remember what it is in the calendar. On the career exploration sequence. Is that coming online, or are we thinking about that, or I can't remember?
The middle school course offerings?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. They are right in line with our high school offerings.
Right.
So we are, that's another layer of how we'll be feeding into each of our academies. Let me see.
Which seems more important, honestly, than a video even, because, I mean, if they tried it out a little bit, have some sense of what they might be getting into.
And we also are building the partnerships between the teachers at the middle school and the high school because, our teachers are amazing. And if we are bringing the high school teachers down to do some guest speaking and to tap into the middle school students and bring some experiences, now our middle school students feel comfortable. They're familiar with the teachers and they know the content. But I'm really excited about the middle school structure, the way that they're developing the semester-long courses, so our students, our 7th and 8th grade students will have the opportunity to, at minimum, explore 4, I shouldn't say minimum, but they can explore 4 different industries during middle school.
Yeah, that's great, the teachers and guest speakers.
All right, any other comments? All right, thank you very much. All right, on to informational items. First reading, the California World Languages Textbook Adoption. Dr. Moore.
Good evening, Board President Sandoval, board members, Superintendent Weinstein, Cabinet, and our community. First of all, I want to say that this is our first reading for our new World Languages curriculum that the teachers have been working to pilot. But I want to thank the teachers. Anytime the teachers step up to do a pilot, it's additional work because they're taking 2 to 3 different vendors in their curriculum, and they're committed to teaching that curriculum for like 6 to 9 weeks. Then they have to put that all away, take out the other curriculum, teach that for a period of time, and then they do that for a cycle of 3 times throughout the year, and then they make their decision. So tonight, we're presenting, and just so that the community knows, this curriculum that we're presenting tonight will be in the district office in the entryway. We're going to display it for 30 days. And giving the parents or community members an opportunity to make any comments about, look it over and make any comments that they may have about the curriculum. And then we will be back in May to ask for your approval. It's a 6-year cycle this time, and the California framework for world languages and the standards have changed, and which when that happens, our curriculum is outdated at that point, and so we have to update, and that's what this is. So the teachers worked with Carnegie Learning, CLET World Languages, and Vista Higher Learning. I do want to make 2 corrections on there was a last-minute change in the decision for the honors classes, and so Spanish 2 honors will be using the Carnegie Learning curriculum, and the Spanish 3 honors will be using the Carnegie Learning materials as well. So both Carnegie and the Vista Higher Learning were the 2 curricula that were selected for this next adoption cycle. So again, the curriculum will be posted or out for public for 30 days for anybody who wants to look at it.
All right, any questions? All right, thank you, Dr. Moore.
Thank you.
All right, action items. The quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints. Who's taking that? Oh. Sorry, I shouldn't have dismissed you so early.
I sat down. Well, happy to report for Dr. Ramirez. She couldn't be here this evening, so happy to report that there are no formal complaints, uniform complaints.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
I have one question, Dr. Moore. Just when was the last time we received a complaint?
I don't You know, I don't know. I don't think we have received one since I've been here, and I've been here almost 2 years. So I don't know before that if we have.
All right.
Maybe
That's
you
good
used
to
to seeing them over at Briggs or something.
know. No,
I'm
no,
just curious.
I do remember they were hot topics when in the elementary school district once upon a time, so.
So, all right, any further discussion? All right, let's move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. All right, business services donations. Let me get that donation report. We received $1,000 from Robert Hand for the Brighton Gym rebuild, 25 to Bedell from American Income Life, 50 from Rotary to the Santa Paula High School Leo Club, and 685 from Rotary to the Santa Paula High School Key Club. And then we had a donation in kind from Oscar Dominguez of LED lighting equipment for the Santa Paula High School auditorium. All right, do I hear a motion to accept this donation report?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-0. All right, the second reading, the approval of AR 3350 travel expenses. Mr. Weinstein?
Yep. So at the last board meeting, we presented the AR, which is an administrative regulation. So there's a board policy that is very generalized, and then with the board policy and administrative regulation that goes into the details. We made just a couple of changes to update these board policies were not updated since 2013, and as we all know, inflation, things are a little bit more expensive these days. So what we did was we added the trips in excess of $2,500 per person must be approved by the Board of Education. Less than that can be approved by the superintendent or designee, but all conference trips must be reported to the board, noting the superintendent or designee approved the trip. So this allows the board to see everyone, but it expedites the system for those that are less than 2,500. And then we've all been to conferences and stuff and can see, depending on where the conference is, there's different rates that you would want for different meals. So what we did was we worked with the county and took the county's reimbursement or daily per diem. And so we have $65 per day for 3 meals, and that is broken up into $15 breakfast, lunch, and $20 and dinner, $30. And the reason why we break it up is because there's sometimes where they're only getting 1 meal, so that they would only need to get 1 meal. So we'd want to know the ratios there. And those are the only changes to the AR, and we're looking for an approval of it, please.
Well, sausage McMuffin, the A's are 2 for $5, but I guess, 15 is okay. So, anyways, do I hear a motion?
So, I'll second it.
All right, is there any further discussion or cute comments? Fine.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is the biggest challenge, is it financially sending individuals to workshops, or is it the subs to cover classrooms?
Both are challenging, but the subs are the biggest. When we do professional development, whether it's a conference or in-house professional development, the big issue is subs. So we don't do professional development on Fridays, because that's a day that we tendency to have a higher rate of absenteeism among our staff. So, but I think I think we can all say, lack of substitutes out there has affected us throughout the year. And so that's probably it. But obviously, though, conferences have gotten more expensive. It keeps going up. They want more, and then the hotels more and more expensive, meals are more expensive, travel is more expensive. So, but it's definitely the subs.
All right, no further discussion. Let's move to a vote. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have 5-0. All right, Human Resources, Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators for 2023-24. Dr. Bond.
Thank you. Good evening, President Sandoval, board members, Mr. Weinstein, staff and public. So this item is an annual requirement that we have to file with the County Office of Education as well as the Credentialing Commission at the state, basically anticipating the number of vacancies that we are projecting for next school year. And this also gives us the authority to hire interns if we cannot find fully credentialed candidates. And in the rare event that we can't find either one of those, it gives us the authority to hire folks on short-term permits, provisional permits, or short-term permits. So, yeah, that's basically the purpose of this form. It's just an annual notification.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the declaration of need?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, do we have any discussion?
Quick question. Bilingual authorization, is that what we once knew it as BCLAD?
Yeah, those positions are primarily for dual language programs.
Gotcha.
There is BCLAD is one of the avenues to get that authorization, but there's several others that we could use.
Don't want to repeat.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. All right, the annual statement of need for 30-day substitute teaching permits, 2023-24.
This kind of falls in the same category. It's an annual requirement that we file with the county and the state, basically saying that we anticipate the need for hiring day-to-day 30-day subs in our district for next year. You would think that would be a given, but they actually want us to file paperwork saying we're going to need subs. So that's what this is.
Really? Well, I'm glad we got paperwork to let us know that we're
Otherwise,
going to
yeah,
need those.
It'll get even worse than it is.
All right. Do I hear a motion to accept the annual statement of need for 30-day substitute teaching permits?
So moved.
I need
I'll
a second.
I'll second it.
All right. No, you got first. Mr. Toad, you got first, and you got second. All right. Any discussion or comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, ayes have it, 5-0. All right, consent calendar. All right, consent items are considered routine and will be acted as by a single motion. None of the items will be discussed unless the board member requests discussion prior to the vote of the motion to adopt the consent calendar.
We have had a request to pull item 9B1 for a separate vote.
9B1, all right. So do I hear a motion to accept the consent calendar minus item 9B1?
So
2 or 2?
it's a PO.
It's PO. Where's that represented? 3? Oh, it is in fact. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 9B1.
And then 9B2, is there just a clarification on the change orders,
We can pull that one too and then give them clarification.
please?
Sure.
All right. We will pull both items then. So do I hear a motion to accept the consent calendar minus 9B1 and 9B2?
So moved.
Second?
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. All right. Item 9B1, financial reports.
We're asking the board to approve the financial report complete with one exception, one PO exception, P23-02089 for $147,563.22. And this was for an item that was brought before the board, the EV stations, that was not approved by the board.
I think it's also listed as, on another sheet as 02083, but it doesn't make a difference, right? It's just PO,
Once we pull the PO, yeah.
the EV charging stations.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the financial reports with that modification for the PO as stated by Mr. Weinstein?
So, go ahead.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Okay, item 9B2, change orders. So is there any?
Mr. Olson, could you go through the change orders with,
Here, so I'll let
oh, you got, where is he? Oh, there he is. I'm sorry.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't see him sitting way back there.
It's in regards to the Ardalan construction. Is it the 179,000 plus?
Okay.
Just, I wasn't around when this project was, so for that amount, I was just curious, how can it be so much more? On the change order, what caused it?
So, and of course, we're not even done yet. $4.8 million contract, it's a modernization, so this might sound cliche, but it is true. Sometimes modernizations can run up to 10% of the total contract cost for change orders. I don't think we're going to approach that because we're starting to faintly see the finish line. But we have run into some problems with our plans, and we've also run into some unforeseen conditions. Most notably would be item PCO 7 on the change order, which you can see is a big ticket item there for just shy of $116,000 for some lead abatement that we had to perform. That's obviously driving up the cost substantially. I can provide more information on that if desired.
Just like, I don't understand how those things are not caught when there's a test that's done.
Okay, that's a good question. So we came through ahead of time and did a survey. And actually, this space is actually a reasonably good example, but we went through and they test the window putty and the lead and like these acoustic tiles and all the floor tiles, all the types of surfaces that they assume might have asbestos or lead. But they don't test wood because they know that that doesn't have any harmful materials contained within it. Anyways, in that particular facility, they had OSB, which is like plywood, oriented strand board, at the underside of structure. So it'd be like if they had the OSB in between these small beams right here. And we called for those to be removed as part of the plans. They're being removed because we needed to reduce the weight of the structure on the roof because of the metal roof. Anyways, so we didn't sample those materials. So when we finally pulled off the first bit of OSB, we discovered that above it there was some foam insulation, which actually turned out to not be lead containing or asbestos containing. However, we exposed the underside of structure, which had flaking lead paint on the whole underside of the structure of a 10,000 square foot building. And that led to a very substantial change order. So had we
So
done,
essentially, there was no way to test it before you opened it up.
we could have tested it before had we pulled that OSB out, but we didn't because we didn't realize there was anything above it.
Right, yeah.
So, and had we tested it before, the lead would have been shown on the documents and we would have paid for it at the time. Perhaps we're paying more of a premium because we're going through a change order. Yes, but certainly something we were going to pay for one way or the other.
And I appreciate that. I know you do your best to look at every detail because I think as a parent, I was always asking questions in regards to construction, where our money was going. So I appreciate that you take it seriously. When you approved,
Thank you. We had something similar come up later on for the McMahon gym. There's some panels that are on the underside of structure there. So we said, you know what, let's pull one of those off and just be 100% certain. So lesson learned.
I think I saw this on a love it or listed somewhere, Anyways, Property Brothers, one of those things. All right, so do I hear a motion to accept 9B2 change orders?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, item passes, let the record reflect 4-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, board member comments. Let's start on this side of the table. So, all right, trustee Hernandez.
Well, I'm glad we're back and meeting It was a nice break, I guess, but there was important things to discuss, so I'm glad that we started the conversation about reviewing our safety protocols at all of our sites. Thank you, everyone, for your presentations and your hard work on putting those together. Thank you to all of our staff, from security to our kitchen staff, custodians. I just saw a picture of center courts and how nicely, how good of a job the gentleman did. I think his name's Ivan. For the event last night, which I wasn't able to attend, but it's really nice to see those things be highlighted on social media. So thank you to all staff across all of our sites for everything you do. Happy Administrative Office Professional Administrators Day today. Thank you to our district office staff and everyone for all your hard work. We appreciate it. I look forward to continuing the conversation on updating our safety protocols for all of our sites and how we can work better with our local police department and county sheriffs, and the gym and Isabel and everything else that we have coming for our district. I'm looking forward to graduation. The youth center is open for all students, 6th through 12th grade, from 2:30 to 6. Anyone that wants to come check it out is welcome. I didn't write any notes today, but I think that's it. I'm sure I'll forget something, but thank you, everyone.
Trustee Arroyo.
I don't know how Gabby does it, how she can remember everything, but really ditto just to everything she said, because I can't say thank you enough to all our SPUSD staff and for all they do. And as my daughter reminded me, there's only 20-something more days of school, and she's counting down before she's in her next grade. I'm looking forward to high school graduation and cry a little bit to see some of the young adults that I've known for since they were in elementary and the ones that I've just recently met. So that's going to be very emotional. We have so much to do, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the work that everybody puts in. And for Julissa to publicize all the positive things that are happening in our district, and that we continue to do that. And just hopefully there's ways that we can share or show our staff how much we appreciate them.
Trustee Wilson.
So, speaking of the produce of the institution, going last night to the UC Success Night and seeing, the wonderful statistics of how many kids are able to be accepted into the UC system and what a wonderful system it is. I was heartened, as always, to go to that event and just see how many students there are. Lots of them first member of the family to enroll in college. And there was a great turnout, lots of families, and the campus did look lovely. And some of the trees are gone, but it's sort of open and nice. You can really see the Morton Bay fig tree now from Center Campus courts. I was also heartened to see Veronica Landeros, who's one of our elementary school counselors who graduated from Santa Paula High, went to UC Berkeley, got a master's at Cal Lutheran, and was there giving back, coming full circle. And I wrote her, she won one of the Pauline Cochran scholarships, which is $2,000 a year for 4 years. So I kept seeing her name come through the system. I'm happy to see her doing so well here. And I was also happy to see 6 school buses today well, 2 school buses and 4 sort of fancy charter buses at Isbell today, and I was wondering where the field trip was to.
I happened to be there when the buses were loading, and they were able to take all the 6th graders to the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Center to see the play and go to the park and have a picnic. So Ms. Bergman really set that up and got the funding for all our 6th graders.
Excellent. Those some of my few memories of high school are field trips and school in general. So I'm sure the kids will remember that. Thank you.
Trustee Frutos.
All right, couple of things. Just want to give a congratulatory, I can get tied up here. Just a shout out to our band and choir for the wonderful performances they've had. I've been able to see some of the clips on YouTube and just hearing from others in the community over the past few months. I think you were there, right, Trustee Sandoval? Absolutely. I want to congratulate our boys baseball and softball program for winning Citrus Coast League champions. Season's not quite over. It's coming to an end, so hopefully they do well in CIF. Want to request for future board items as we had our discussion regarding school safety, training for staff, protocols, and systems in place, healthy survey results. Hopefully, all of those with the results, we can start guiding some of the conversations and where we need to go. And then just looking forward to our 2x2 meeting with the city council representatives. And then last, I just want to give my condolences to the family of our 3rd grade student who recently passed, Ellie Suarez. I want to give our condolences to the staff, the students here at Glen City School. Such a sad moment, and it really puts things in perspective of why we're here, and we should be grateful and count our blessings, and hopefully we can reach out to the family. Getting choked up here. Reach out to the families and the staff and the students for all those who need the support. So.
All right. It was a month, right? So went to the Cardinal Gala, and that was a great event. Went last year, and it was equally as good now. Went to the UC Success Night yesterday. One thing I'd like to know is where did everybody go, right? Where do they choose to end up? I'd love to see, the sampling of that. And I know where she's going, but everybody else, I guess congratulations. Anyways, so that's great to see, but seeing how many, it's great that we get in, right? But it's also, it's more important to know that they actually, were able to accept the offer. So we can see, how many of our students are able to take up that opportunity, right? Because I know that it's hard for people. I was just reading an article, I think we were talking about that in the LA Times, about how hard it is to, even if you get accepted, to go. So that information would be great. Let's see, I went to a farewell for our Blanchard Library director, Ned Branch, who had been there for a long time. The library is a good partner of the school district, and he will be sorely missed. I went to an Earth Day rally sponsored by Cause last Saturday. Spoke a little bit about some of the things that we're doing here at the district to help students who are facing climate change every day. I don't know if we all know, but Ventura County is the hottest county of the lower 48, right? They're at least the most increasing. So we are very affected by this issue. So I was glad to participate in that. It was good to see, and boy, you did mention this, the Holocaust event over at the Reagan Library. what I want to draw attention to is that we got a nice letter in the Santa Paula Times from one of the chaperones who mentioned how wonderful our students were, that we were the most well-behaved and attentive, not on our cell phones or anything. And so that's always great to see that, Santa Paula is represented well by our students. So that's, I think, about it. So I will adjourn this meeting in Ellie's memory. I want to just take a second of silence before I do so. All right, so I will adjourn this meeting in her name at 7:54 p.m.